Hello everyone, back again with movie and tune recap. Today, I'm going to explain an American supernatural horror film from 2020, titled The Grudge. Spoilers ahead, so watch out and take care. In 2004, Fiona Landers, a live-in nurse, leaves the home of the Williams family in Tokyo, visibly shaken by what she experienced there. She tells her co-worker, Yoko, that she is returning to America, but before she leaves, she encounters the ghosts of Kayako Seki and her son Toshio. Fiona returns to her home at 44 Rayburn Drive in a small town in Pennsylvania, where she reunites with her husband Sam and daughter Melinda. However, Kayako's curse follows her back. Fiona becomes possessed by the curse, and driven mad by terrifying ghostly visions, kills Sam and Melinda before taking her own life. Detectives Goodman and Wilson are assigned to investigate the gruesome murders. Feeling uneasy about the house, Goodman refuses to go inside, while Wilson enters to examine the crime scene. After leaving the house, Wilson begins to lose his sanity, becoming hysterical when he sees Fiona's ghost outside Goodman's car. In a moment of madness, Wilson attempts to take his own life by shooting himself, but he survives with a disfigured face. He is eventually committed to a psychiatric asylum, while Goodman, disturbed by the events, chooses to stop investigating the case. Some time later, real estate agents Peter and his wife, Nina Spencer, receive distressing news that their unborn child will likely be born with a rare genetic disorder called ALD. After their hospital visit, they stop by the house on Rayburn Drive to have some sale paperwork signed. Finding no one home, Peter decides to open the door and go inside. As he steps in, the ghost of Melinda Landers, the young girl who was killed in the house, silently emerges from the bathtub. After searching the house and finding it empty, Peter leaves and the couple drives away, unaware that Melinda's ghost is watching them from a window. Later at home, while Peter is showering, he is terrified when he feels a creepy finger touching his hair. That night, while Peter and Nina are sleeping, something pulls the bedsheet off Peter, and he is frightened by the ghost of Fiona Landers. The next morning, Peter returns to the house on Rayburn Drive, where he meets Melinda, unaware that she is a ghost, and suddenly, Melinda's nose begins to bleed heavily. Concerned, Peter brings her inside the house and tries to help stop the bleeding. Afterward, he leaves a voicemail for Melinda's parents, but while on the phone, Melinda starts vomiting blood. Peter decides to stay with Melinda until her parents return, but strange things begin to happen in the house. Peter hears the doorbell ring, but when he opens the door, no one is there. When he comes back inside, Melinda, who had been lying on the couch, has mysteriously disappeared. While searching for Melinda, Peter heads upstairs where he is drawn to a bathtub, and as he approaches it, a hand suddenly reaches out and attacks him. Panicked, Peter tries to escape the house but is terrified when he encounters the ghost of Fiona. Desperate, he hides in a closet, but Melinda's ghost finds him and soon, Peter becomes possessed by the curse. Now under the curse control, Peter returns to his home, and in a horrifying turn, he kills Nina and their unborn child before ending his own life by drowning himself in the bathtub. In 2005, an elderly couple, Faith and William Matheson, move into the Landers' home. Faith suffers from dementia, delusions, and a terminal illness, which leads William to contact Lorna Moody, an assisted suicide consultant. When Lorna sees that Faith is talking to ghosts, she deems her mentally unfit for euthanasia but agrees to stay with the couple for a few days to monitor her condition. Faith offers an assisting hand to the couple by preparing meals for them, and while at a grocery store, Lorna is stalked by Melinda's ghost. Later that night, Lorna is awakened by strange noises, and upon going to Faith's room, she witnessed the ghost of Fiona attacking her, which terrifies Lorna. Faith soon becomes infected by the curse and begins seeing Melinda's ghost around the house, causing her mental state to deteriorate rapidly. Lorna suggests to William that they need to leave the house. However, William reveals that he knows about the ghosts and believes their presence represents a future where people are reunited with their loved ones in death. He pleads with Lorna to stay, but deeply frightened by the eerie events, Lorna packs her belongings and prepares to leave. The next day, Lorna finds Faith in the kitchen, and is horrified to discover William's lifeless body, and in a state of dementia, Faith begins to laugh while cutting off her own fingers. Horrified, Lorna flees the house, driving away in panic, but is attacked by the ghost of Sam. The attack causes her to crash her car in a remote forest area, leading to her tragic death. In 2006, rookie detective Muldoon moves to a small town with her son Burke after the death of her husband from cancer. Muldoon, along with her new partner Goodman, is called to the woods where Lorna's corpse has been discovered. Goodman becomes uneasy when he learns that Lorna had been visiting 44 Rayburn Drive, hinting at his belief that the house is cursed. Noticing Goodman's discomfort, Muldoon questions him about the house and he reveals his suspicions, explaining that he wants nothing to do with the place due to its dark history. Intrigued, Muldoon decides to investigate the Rayburn Drive house on her own. After knocking and receiving no response, she lets herself inside. In the kitchen, she finds Faith Matheson, who appears disturbed, and when Muldoon questions Faith about her husband, the elderly woman begins acting erratically, which frighten Muldoon. As she tries to leave, Muldoon stumbles upon the rotting corpse of William Matheson in the living room, and horrified, she rushes outside to call the paramedics. Afterward, Faith is taken to a psychiatric hospital. There, she begins seeing the ghost of Melinda, and in her distress, ends her life by throwing herself off a staircase. On her way home, Muldoon passes a woman holding a baby on the road, but is suddenly attacked by the ghost of Melinda, leaving her terrified. Shaken by the encounter, Muldoon visits Goodman to learn more about the Landers. Goodman explains how the Landers case drove his former partner mad and admits that he refused to enter the house due to the sinister energy he felt surrounding it. At home, Muldoon continues researching the deaths connected to the Rayburn Drive house. Seeking relief from her growing anxiety, she goes to the bathroom to calm down, and suddenly, the ghost of Fiona appears behind her and nearly drowns her in the sink, leaving Muldoon horrified. The next day, Muldoon visits Detective Wilson in a psychiatric hospital, who reveals that the curse known as Ju-on originates from Tokyo and warns that because she entered the haunted house, she will now be plagued by the curse. He explains that anyone who steps foot inside the cursed house will be haunted and suffer terrifying hallucinations. After Muldoon leaves, Wilson tries to gouge out his eyes to stop seeing the ghosts, but his terrifying visions persist. Later at the police department, Muldoon listens to the audio tapes Wilson left behind, and the recordings provide more information about the curse's dark and tragic history. Suddenly, the lights in the police department go out, and Muldoon harms herself with her gun and a touch light while reacting to the unexpected darkness. After gathering herself, she investigates the situation, only to be terrified by the appearance of Sam Lander's ghost. When she checks the CCTV footage, she realizes with horror that she is the only one visible on the cameras. Later at home, Muldoon experiences another series of disturbing events, and believing it to be an intruder who broke into her home, Muldoon harms herself with her gun. Finding no one in the house, she begins turning off the lights, but just then, she encounters the ghost of Sam Landers once more. Terrified, she steps outside to calm herself by smoking, but her dog begins barking at something inside the house. As Muldoon tries to enter the house, she sees the ghost of Sam Landers approaching her, but Muldoon managed to enter, and just then, this happened. Muldoon hears Burke calling for her and she sprints to his room, but instead of finding her son, she is confronted by the ghost of Melinda, leaving her even more shaken and terrified. Afraid that the curse will target her son, Muldoon decides to confront it once and for all. She takes Burke with her to the Rayburn Drive house, planning to end the curse. Upon arriving, she instructs Burke to stay in the car while she heads inside, carrying gasoline. Muldoon begins to douse the house with gasoline, and as she moves through the house, she experiences horrifying visions of how Fiona murdered her family. As Muldoon prepares to set the house on fire, the curse manifests an apparition that looks like Burke, trying to deceive her. At first, she hesitates, but she quickly realizes that the figure isn't really her son when it fails to repeat a familiar phrase they use together. With this recognition, she ignites the fire, setting the house ablaze, and the apparition of Burke transforms into Melinda's vengeful ghost as the flames consume the house. Muldoon escapes outside and reunites with the real Burke, watching as the house burns to the ground. The next day, Muldoon goes to hug her son as he is preparing to leave for school, relieved that the nightmare is over. However, she becomes terrified when she notices the real Burke leaving the house. The Burke she is hugging is revealed to be Melinda's ghost, and in a chilling moment, Muldoon is dragged away by Fiona's ghost, becoming the next victim of the curse. Okay guys, that's all the recap about The Grudge from 2020. Thanks for watching, see you again in the next video.